So in this video we'll show you how to make a porcelain fused metal crown, and essentially you start with the same procedure as you did with the gold crown. So once you get to the final wax up state, the only difference here now is that we're going to cut back some of the wax material. So from the full contour wax up, you're going to cut back an even amount, and the amount of wax that you remove is later on going to be replaced with porcelain. So we want a sort of a thin metal coping that's going to sit on the tooth and provide our foundation for the crown, but provide something that our porcelain is going to sit on. So again, you're going to go through your steps of sprueing, attaching the sprue, and investing the crown with our phosphate bonded investment material, and make sure that there's no voids. So you'll fill that up and let that set, and you're going to place that into the furnace so that the wax will burn out. So again, you'll cast it with your metal alloy, and you'll remove or divest the investment material. So you can see that the shape of the product that comes out of the casting machine is a little bit different than your gold crown. It's just a thin metal coping that we've waxed it up to. And now you'll do some sandblasting to get rid of it, and you're going to actually place the metal into the oven to oxidize the metal there. So the oxidation layer on the coping will help the porcelain attach or bond to the metal. So the first layer of porcelain that you're going to put on is what we call the opaque layer. And we want to put a very opaque layer of porcelain on first so that it blocks out the darkness of the metal that's underneath. You don't want any of the grayness of the metal showing through the tooth when you actually see it in the mouth. So as you can see, there's a very opaque layer of porcelain that first goes on. And now we're going to mix up our dentin and enamel layers of porcelain. So in this situation, it's critical that we have sufficient reduction or tooth removal of the crown so that you have enough room to allow for the aesthetic porcelain to be stacked on top of the tooth. If you're under or reduce, what's going to happen is that the metal or the opaque layer of the crown is going to shine through, and you won't leave your ceramics enough room to really make the crown look natural. So you can see the lab technician adding the layers of porcelain onto it, and that comes in powder and liquid form, and that will eventually go back into the oven so that the porcelain can be vitrified, or goes from a powder and liquid kind of state into something solid. So that process gets repeated multiple times until you build up the layers of ceramic or porcelain to the contour that you want. The last step is then you can stain and glaze to get the final characterization of the tooth, and that'll go back in the oven for the final sintering. So that's how you make a porcelain fused metal crown.